Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, I am going to be giving you full context as to what we know currently about the Hydra boss that Plarium has been teasing in many different avenues. They've been sending t-shirts to content creators that spell out Hydra. They've been leaking stuff on Instagram, and they leaked something in the Ash and Cirilla interview talking about it there. They had a leak on YouTube, which, by the way, shout out to my good friend Scratch. I'm going to link to his channel down below. He did a really good job of finding out some of this stuff first. There may have been people before him, but I know for me, I found out first on some of this stuff from scratch, so I want to make sure and give him credit for that. But anyway, I'm going to be kind of just going over what we know based on the different heads that we have seen them tease so far and get you my reaction, because we've got some new debuffs maybe coming to the game, and these bosses look pretty interesting. So there's going to be a lot of new mechanics coming to Raid, but I will get you all the screenshots and things that you know about, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, this is the first one that we saw teased in the Ash and Cirilla interview. This is the head of Torment, but first of all, we don't know exactly how this boss is going to function. Is this going to be on top of the current clan boss we have? Is this going to be on a rotation like every week or so? With the current clan boss we have, is this going to be separate keys? We don't know exactly the mechanics of this boss. Ash did specifically ask Cirilla that, and Cirilla said stay tuned for a couple weeks and we will do an official teaser video giving you all of that sort of information. So we don't know exactly how this is going to function, but one of the first things that stands out as interesting is 4 different affinities. So this probably means it is going to be a random thing. So each head of the Hydra is going to be a random affinity, either every day or every time you fight it or something like that. But it does definitely say clan boss for the type up there, so it looks like it is going to be an objective for your entire team, something that you gotta either try to decapitate all of the heads every day, or you've got to try to do a certain amount of damage or take down like things in a certain order, like kill this head before you can kill this. Like there's gonna be some sort of mechanic where you work together with your team and taking it down. But this head of Torment actually looks like it's gonna be revolving around a bunch of fear, but then towards the bottom we can see that it is immune to petrification, which means we are going to be getting a new debuff coming to the game that is called petrification. Now, this does kind of make sense when you think about it, because Hydra can be kind of synergistic with Medusa. Medusa is thought to have kind of that snake type hair with multiple different heads as the tendrils of her hair. I believe Medusa, I haven't brushed up on the mythology for a while, but I believe Medusa was extremely beautiful, and then she got cursed and it turned her beautiful hair into like a bunch of different snakes, and then she was also cursed so that anybody who looked at her would be turned to stone and stuff like that. So it does make sense that petrification is going to be some sort of stone debuff. They're like, you know how when champions get debuffed when they get frozen or HP burned, the aesthetic of that champion changes. I guarantee you when this petrification goes onto a champion or something, it's going to change them to look like a gargoyle. It's going to make them look like they have been petrified and frozen into stone. But what we don't know is exactly what that petrification is going to do in terms of a debuff, but it's listed underneath all of the other like CC type debuffs. So it's going to be something similar to how freeze and stuff like that functions, but we don't know what the other effect is going to be in terms of the exact specifications of the petrify debuff. But then on YouTube, this was teased as kind of a sub channel type thing. You can see there it says Hydra, head of Mischief. So it looks like this is going to be based on kind of doing a bunch of buff stealing. It's going to target somebody that has a lot of buffs, steal those buffs. It's got a passive here that can make you attack a different head randomly based on attacking them if they're not under a Hex debuff. So we're getting more things that are going to be working with Hex. We're also getting that new epic fusion that's going to be launching next week, which is also going to work with Hex. They're trying to kind of slowly introduce more Hex opportunities to the game. But this one here also has a buff spread, which we haven't really seen a whole lot of. A buff spread, so it's going to take all the buffs from this head and place it on all heads. So it's really looking like this Hydra boss is going to have a ton of stuff going on. It's not going to be like the clan boss where you've got an A1 and a couple different abilities to take note of. No, it's going to be all sorts of heads all over the place. We don't know how many yet. So far, as of right now, it is 3. We'll have one more after this one, but we don't know if that's going to go up to 5, 6, 7. So it looks like it's going to be very, very tough content, and we're going to need a very well-diverse roster to go ahead and tackle all these different mechanics. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of theory crafting coming up as we finally know exactly the full details of the boss, because they obviously have so much going on with new debuffs, new buff effects, you get a reward for when you finally decapitate one of these heads. You can see here, full way deplete the turn meter of all Hydra heads whenever this head is decapitated, and they all have an effect like that where your team gets some sort of reward when you finally do lop off that head. But then over on Instagram, they had this new account here, which was Hydra Head of Suffering. So we had Torment and Mischief, and then over on Instagram, they teased the Head of Suffering. Now, something super interesting about this one is when you click on these, you get more info. And on one of them, we've got this super interesting mechanic on the A3 here called Share Suffering, which is going to attack one enemy and place a Pain Link debuff for 3 turns. Then grant this this head an extra turn. So Pain Link is going to be some sort of blend of reflect damage and like a reverse ally protection. So how I think this is going to function, this is just theory crafting, just thinking out loud. I haven't seen anything behind the scenes. I have no reason to believe that this is definitive, but I was talking on stream with some of my viewers and we were kind of theory crafting as to what this could be. And what I think it's going to be is some sort of mechanic where the Hydra can choose where reflect damage is targeted. So I know it's kind of hard to wrap your head around it at first, but you know how like reflect damage, when you've got that buff up, when someone hits you, you reflect damage back to that person who did that damage. But this is going to be an opportunity where they can actually choose where the damage is reflected to instead of just automatically taking it to the attacker. So you can have your Royal Guard that hits super hard, all of a sudden go ahead and GG your Apothecary. The Hydra targets your Apothecary. Now when the Royal Guard comes in and slams all the Hydra heads, boom, your Royal Guard basically just slammed your own Apothecary and took down your own teammate based on what the Hydra was trying to target because it's linking its pain to that Apothecary. I know it gets a little bit wordy there and it's hard to understand, but I think that is kind of how it's going to function. It's going to basically be a reflect damage, but it's going to be able to be targeted instead of being automatically reflected to only the attacker. But obviously, I could be wrong. That is just a theory. That is just a guess. Would love to hear your theory as to what you think it could be, whether I'm crazy or if you think I could be right on that, because Pain Link is obviously going to be a new mechanic to the game that none of us can possibly know because we've never seen it before and we have not been given any more information than what it is called. So that is most of what we know right now. We have got the Head of Torment, the Head of Mischief, and the Head of Suffering, but there could be more to come. And we should be getting an official Plarium full fancy release video coming out in about 10 to 15 days or so, I think, based on what Cirilla said in her interview with Ash. So obviously, I'm going to try to line up a big sit down where we all get together and talk about exactly what is going on with this boss, what champions we think are going to be insanely good. It's hard to say right now because obviously things like Inquisitor Shamel is seeming like something super cool that could be a lot of fun versus the Hydra boss. Things like that are really going to rise to the top, and we're going to be like, wow, this champion's going to be insane versus the Hydra. But we really need to see the full context before we really know what champions are going to be insane, and you're going to want to start building in preparation to do well for your clan against the Hydra boss. But all of that will be coming soon as we know more, and who knows what they're going to tease and more stuff. I do think it's going to be more than 3 heads. I don't think they're done yet. This could go all the way up to 5, 6, 7. We have no way of knowing, but it should be interesting, and as soon as I know more, obviously you will know more as well. You're going to want to make sure you don't forget to subscribe down below because I will be keeping you in the loop with 1 to 2 videos a day on exactly what is going on and always giving you full context. But as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.